Hello and welcome to another Tea Time with Meoni, my weekly video series where I basically get to sit down and talk to you about the recent things that have happened in the game and around my own life, and sometimes we look at some community reactions as well. So this week I really want to talk about the Moogle Tombstone event, the Moogle Treasure Trove. So this is something that went live on Monday, and if you're not familiar, I've done a few videos on that you might want to check out, basically explaining what the event is, how to get the rewards, what rewards are available. I did this really long sort of explanation of what each of the rewards actually looks like in the game. So yeah, I put a lot of effort into that, and hopefully that was helpful, because even myself, some of those items I hadn't actually seen in the game, so it gave me a good opportunity to actually source them out and film them. So yeah, I know exactly what things I would perhaps want to get, perhaps for my alts as well, because I'm actually really enjoying this event, and I will tell you exactly why. The addition of PvP to the roster of activities is probably single-handedly my favorite addition to this sort of event they could have ever added, and this is something that I didn't think I was going to enjoy. You know, it's no secret that on previous episodes of this show, and indeed many of my other videos, I've mentioned my sort of distaste for the current PvP system, how I don't hate it, but I would love to, you know, be able to enjoy it more, and there are certain parts about it that I don't enjoy, especially if I compare this to the Heavensward system. I would undoubtedly prefer the Heavensward system of PvP over this one. I feel that the class homogenization with the skills has really sort of devalued parts of the experience in general, but that's just my opinion, obviously, and everybody has different opinions. That's what makes the world a better place. But interestingly enough, I have really been enjoying doing PvP. So I said before that I would likely do Circus Tower, you know, the Crystal Tower instance, back to back to back, and it doesn't take too long, about 16 minutes or something like that. Well, I was actually surprised with myself. I just kept queuing for the frontline every hour. Even when it changed to secure at 4 p.m, I kept queuing for frontlines. It was quite addictive. I was playing as Dancer. I was managing to get my fan proc on low health players as they're trying to run away. I was chasing down a ninja and killing him indiscriminately and enjoying every last moment of it. For some reason, it sort of rekindled my interest in PvP. And I think the main reason why I didn't give PvP a bigger chance at the time is because people just don't queue for it ordinarily. It's just not something you can queue instantly for. I didn't want to have to play at peak times all the time just to enjoy a little bit of PvP for an hour or so. But thanks to this new event and the inclusion of PvP, it's been absolutely chocker with queues. You can get a queue like that. There's absolutely no problems. It's fast. It's a reliable source of Moogle tombstones. I did a video the other day where I mentioned how I didn't realize this myself until I read up on this, is that you can essentially change your class whilst in PvP, and the one you queued in as will actually get some experience. So if you, say for instance, want to level Machinist up but don't have any understanding of how to play it, queue up as Machinist and then swap to, say for instance, your Dragoon, and your Machinist will get all of the experience at the end. Even if your Dragoon is level 80 or whatever, you will still get experience for the class that you queued into PvP as. And the only restrictions on that are level 30 and above, which is absolutely amazing. And it's not like an insignificant amount of e-experience either. It's mostly sort of like a quest's worth if you want to compare it to something. So it's not a large amount of experience, but it is enough to be visibly noticeable, and it did level up my warrior yesterday by 1 level. So that shows you how much PvP I actually did. And I think in total I got about 60-something, 61 tombstones in one day, just simply from PvP. And that should give you a better example of how much I actually enjoyed it. So ordinarily, this would be the sort of thing I would try to find the most simple, most laborious activity to get the tombstones from. I do Circus Tower usually for these, like last time. But yeah, Frontlines has definitely grabbed my attention, and honestly, I'm not sure how I feel about it, because it's kind of like I've been pushed towards having to enjoy something as an option other than doing Circus Tower back to back. In many ways, I think much of my enjoyment comes from the idea of doing something different rather than the actual content itself. I don't believe this is a long-standing opinion. I don't believe that I'm going to suddenly enjoy PvP to the point where it's the main focus of what I do in the game. Nothing like that, because I completely suck at it, as we all know. I mean, I'm terrible at PvP. If you actually see me in front lines, do not expect a reasonable challenge. I will probably just die horribly or run away like a screaming little girl. But at the end of the day, I am enjoying every moment in it, and occasionally I get to see people that ordinarily I wouldn't, that recognize me and say hello, which is pretty fun. I do enjoy that quite a bit. But yeah, farming wolf marks so I can get the last few bits I need from the vendors, along with more PvP towels, because you can never have enough PvP related towels in your housing areas. I still think that's a massive joke, really, managing to get housing items from PvP. I don't know, it just feels a little bit wrong. I remember when I originally did the machinima where I made the joke about PvP towels. But yeah, it's interesting. So we get wolf marks, we get PvP experience, we get, Moogle tombstones, which is a whole reason we actually do these events. And of course, we get experience for our character. In many ways, that's very hard to beat from another source. Circus Tower spam, poetics, wow. You can do so much with them. General poetics, I mean, you can turn them into gil if you go to Idleshire and purchase like sands and stuff like that, but pretty much everybody else is doing that, so you're not going to be able to make enough gil off of that. I know a few people are actually farming this event for MGP, which blows my mind a little bit. I'm currently sat on over 2 million MGP just from a few months of Fashion Report with nothing left to spend it on. That's really casual. I don't go into the saucer and I don't do the challenge log and I don't spend forever doing it, but there are some people who want to spend their Moogle tombstones on MGP. And yeah, I mean, that's a really cool idea. Surely there are better things to spend your tombstones on. Perhaps you need some money. I imagine that the Heart of Crags and the demi-materia of Crags would probably have more value, considering you can make the glamour with those, like the weapon glamour. But I don't know. I haven't really looked into it. For somebody who has already got pretty much everything on that list, including the falcon mount, etc., there really is only the Mama Shiba earring, and that's the other thing I wanted to talk about. What sort of rewards should they add to this? Should they add more unique rewards like the Mama Shiba earring, maybe some rings as well? Yeah, really, what would you like to see on the Moogle vendor? Because a lot of people are saying, well, it's just stuff we can get in the game, and this isn't necessarily all items that are difficult to obtain. Some of them are actually devaluing my time in the Beast Tribes, for example, since you can get the Beast Tribe mounts. And some other people are saying, well, it's fine, but they're missing out on the minions from those Beast Tribes and the quest storyline as well, which, I'd have to agree with. But, and then there are things like the So Thick Lana and Round Lana, which obviously, if you've ever done Forward and Extreme, has an incredibly low drop chance, or at least that's the reason I haven't got it. I've done, those birds several times. I've not seen it once. So, it might be a good opportunity for me to actually buy those So Thick and Round Lana birds myself, depending on, how much I'm actually going to continue doing PvP and the other stuff. As far as Castrum goes, I don't think I'm going to spend too much time in that. I actually did a little bit because I'm trying to level my warrior sort of casually in the background, so I'll just switch class and run some Praetorium or something, probably the main scenario roulette, and, occasionally get like 10 here and there. But yeah, for the most part, PvP has been my main focus. So past the Moogle Tombstone event, what else has happened in Final Fantasy XIV? Well, this week we actually got some new Mog Station additions, the Eastern Journey attire, which has now been given the exclusive Eastern Journey attire tag before it, and we also got a cloud mount, which is particularly cool. It's not the grey cloud, not the grey cumulus that we got from those original, promotions the previous years. I remember having to be on a specific contract on my mobile phone for X amount just to actually get a code from it for this for the cloud, and indeed for the outfit with the battle staff. So that was kind of not very fun. So at least they've added this sort of stuff to the Mog Station where we can actually just go and purchase it, which is what should have happened in the first place, in my opinion, or at least with a better promotion than with a mobile company where you had to actually pay money to them. It was a bit weird, really, because if you weren't on that mobile company's tariffs, then, you know, what you're trying to basically force us to change network just for amount? I don't know. It's a bit weird, in my opinion. But yeah, we didn't get the grey cloud. We actually got a golden one, the sun-spun cumulus. So this, in many ways, is actually way better than the grey one, to some people's opinions. It's obviously going to look a lot more like the mount from Dragon Ball and other anime-related sources. But yeah, it's a golden cloud. It looks cool. It's nice. It's not actually too expensive either. It's like in the £6 range, which is, you know, in my opinion, quite nice because I don't want to have to spend £15 to £20 every time I want the latest mount. So yeah, it was about right for the sort of price range we're looking at here for that sort of mount. And it only goes to one character as well. It's not account wide. So that's worth noting before you do actually pony up any cash to purchase it. But yeah, it's generally kind of cool. But at the same time, we're kind of wondering, where is the grey cumulus? Where is the original cumulus cloud mount? Is that going to be coming to the store anytime soon? Or has that unfortunately been lost to the obscurity of time due to these exclusive deals with various companies in various regions? I mean, this is probably the reason why these new costumes, for example, have the exclusive bit on it instead of, you know, they're identical to the original Eastern Journey attire and battle staff, but by adding that, they've essentially made it a different outfit. Was there a piece of legislation or a contract signed somewhere where it was exclusive to a certain company or in a certain region? Maybe that contract hasn't expired. And really, I mean, the golden one could have just been simply designed as a stopgap, as a way of providing that mount again, but obviously not exactly that mount because it's probably lost somewhere. I don't know, this is all based on speculation from my part, but it's very unusual that we would get exactly the same outfit, slightly changed in terms of name. You know, it's the same dyeable outfit as it's always been, with the Eastern Journey battle staff being exclusive to Dragoon, if you didn't know, which is rather annoying. And then we get this golden cloud mount, which is cool, but I would have liked the option of getting the original as well on the cash shop. Even though I've already got the cloud mount, I would like more people to have a chance to get that, because the whole reason that we did the original promotion was mostly for the mount and not just the outfit. So we'll have to wait and see what really comes out of that. But honestly, I don't think we're going to see that grey cumulus on the cash shop. I really don't think we're going to see that again, which is quite surprising and kind of weird, but at the same time, I'm sure there are some reasons. But, you know, we never know. We might wake up tomorrow and suddenly the original one's back in the cash shop. But yeah, in terms of the other Mog Station items, they've started the Halloween stuff, so we've got all of the original things from last year, the paw prints for your wall, which were some of my favourite personally. I just plastered the wall last year with them. For some reason, I've ended up losing some of those. I think some people in the FC have taken them out of my room, which is perfectly fine, but I'll have to chase those down because I want to actually decorate my house with those, because I spent forever on the vendor actually getting more of them. And then we have the sort of like bunting with the little flags with the pumpkins on. They're pretty cool. The pumpkin pastry platter I was not really that keen on. It's a food item. I think we've got some somewhere in storage, but I'm not going to worry too much about that. I know a lot of people are trying to get hyped for the new Halloween event, and me personally, I cannot wait to see what we get from that. Will we get a mount? Will we get a minion? Or will we get something completely different? That is the question on everybody's minds. And honestly, I'm leaning towards something big again. I mean, last year we got 2 minions, didn't we? Got Little Yin and Little Yang. They're on the cash shop as well, by the way, in this Mog Station update, if you want to go grab those from last year. But really, maybe we'll be seeing like a glamour. That would be cool. We haven't had many sort of Halloween-y glamours recently. It would be nice to see something different rather than just a witch's outfit and, you know, a broom mount, which was cool originally. But yeah, we need something different, and maybe maybe a mount, maybe some glamour. I doubt we're going to get a minion this time, but really it comes down to, again, what would you like to see from this Halloween event? If it was a mount, what would you choose? I mean, we've already got a broom. What else could we have? We could have like a rotting bear mount, like an evil, demonic, repossessed bear from the dead, or something like that. I don't know. Maybe like the Christmas bear, but it's gone off a bit and turned evil. Maybe that's something we could look into. Maybe that's a mount that we could ask Square Enix to make. An undead evil version of the Christmas polar bear. That would scare the hell out of most people, I think. Yes, that would be a really good mount idea. But yeah, or we could go, we could make a Halloween cloud. I mentioned this in my Discord. We could have like a thunder cloud as the edgy, spooky cloud for Halloween. I don't know, something like that. That would be that would be entertaining at least. So yeah. Apart from that, we have some cool stuff to look forward to. Obviously, 5.1 is towards the end of October. We're in October now. Ooh, spooky stuff. And we've got to see another live letter before then, right? So I'm looking forward to the next live letter. We're going to have coverage on that, obviously. This whole month is going to be crazy with videos on the channel. We're going to be doing everything to do with 5.1. We've sort of shallowed out a little bit at the minute. There's not a great deal of stuff to do videos on, as you've probably noticed, which is why I've picked up my lore book and started reading stories to you guys, because I actually genuinely enjoy reading the lore of this game. And and you guys seem to enjoy watching and listening to it as well. Otherwise, we wouldn't have a few views on that, few hundred here and there. So yeah, in general, I've quite enjoyed myself. I had a bit of a depressive time the previous week, I have to admit. I'm not really sure why. I needed a little bit of a break on one of the days. Bit of a real life problem situation, as you can imagine. Everybody has these issues in real life. But I'm feeling a lot better this week. And hopefully the content I'm putting out is the sort of stuff you want to see. If there are any recommendations for stuff you'd like to be, revisited, an old format, or maybe more of. I know a lot of people love the glamour videos. We do have some new ideas for that. And I want to do more NPC recreations. I actually really enjoyed doing that last one with Chinese, so maybe we can put something together soon for that. But yeah, it remains to be seen what we get in 5.1, but it's just around the corner, and I'm really excited to see more about the game. And I'm really excited to do more PvP. How crazy is that? I would never normally say that, and yeah, I mean, I guess you can quote me on me enjoying PvP for the first time in years, which probably won't last, I can assure you. I believe we got one question, or at least I could only see one question in last week's video in the comment section. Again, if you want to leave questions, put your question in capitals or in brackets or something so I can actually find it as I go through the comments. And you can ask something and I will try and get it answered on this video series. So China Smith says, question, if you could experience Final Fantasy XIV as an ultra-realistic VR game, would you? Imagine Sword Art Online level of realistic, but minus the actual death part. They say, in brackets, I would 1000% do it in a heartbeat, but never leave. In many ways, I think everybody who watches this video series absolutely jump at the chance, and I think so many other people watching would as well. I think the idea of actually being fully immersed in something where, you leave your body behind and you enter a completely different world is just so appealing. I mean, a lot of people have flaws with their own bodies that they would love to see improved upon, whether that be weight or height or, if they've got a bad birthmark or something like that you could edit out. You could be whoever you wanted to be in whatever world. Then obviously, yeah, I mean, but how far away is that? We've got VR chat and stuff like that where we're in Vive, but we're still using our bodies. We're still fully planted in reality when it comes down to it. There's still a wall over there that you can walk into. I would love for a full dive type system, but yeah, and I would agree. I would spend forever in it, and you probably would never see me again. But maybe that's the future. Maybe in 20, 30 years' time, we'll all be plugged into VR, properly, with sort of a nerve gear system, and we'll be playing the next Final Fantasy. How about that? Because there's nothing more that I would love to do in this world than ride on the back of a chocobo for real. I don't think anything could compare to that. Imagine the opening scene to A Realm Reborn, where the Warrior of Light jumps on the back of a chocobo and they all ride off towards, I think it's like Coerthus. How cool would that be? Just to do that in reality, you know, to feel the wind against your face. But yeah, of course, because at the end of the day, anything you can create with your mind is going to be way better than the reality of paying taxes and having to wake up at a certain time and go to sleep at a certain time, etc. So yeah, I would love that. But yeah, thank you very much for your question, and that pretty much brings us to the end of this Tea Time with Meoni. So thank you kindly for watching and listening to this. I know that a lot of people listen to this whilst they're at work. You know, keep going, and hopefully your day's nearly over there, and you can get back and play some more Final Fantasy. But until then, thank you kindly for watching, and I'll see you all next time.